Ladies and gents, welcome back. Big question of the day today, is it poll or propaganda? Now, 70% of Canadians, that term is trending on Twitter today. And this is because of a poll that was commissioned by CTV News and actually conducted by a research group called Nanos. Now, they're running with this news story as if it's an actual consensus or some sort of real research. Anyway, let's get into it. 70% of Canadians view politicians' open support of the Freedom Convoy protest as negative.
New poll commissioned by CTV and Power Play, working with Nick Nanos and Nanos.
Notice, commissioned by CTV and Power Play, brought to you by CTV and Power Play. Anyway, let's get on it.
Research shows that these emotions are mostly negative. In this exclusive Nanos research poll for Power Play, look at this. 7 out of 10 respondents say they have a negative impression of a politician who openly supported the trucker protest that laid siege to Ottawa's downtown core last winter. About 21% of respondents say they have a more
Listen to the language, laid siege to Ottawa.
positive or a somewhat more positive impression. Reminder, several politicians did meet with the truckers, including interim leader Candice Bergen. She's not running for re-election in the next election, whenever that comes. Former Conservative leader Andrew Scheer, seen here with members of the Conservative Saskatchewan caucus. They met openly with the convoy supporters.
As opposed to covertly? Like, what are you talking about? Yes, these are Canadian citizens that were concerned about mandates, a political issue. It was about policy. People in the media are drumming this up to be something else that it isn't.
The Conservative leadership frontrunner Pierre Poilievre, an Ottawa area MP, of course, he was handing out coffee to some of the protesters. So is support for the trucker convoy?
There's the Pierre Poilievre. This is the one they're going after right now, because they want to discredit the frontrunner of the campaign to win the Conservative leadership. Now, CTV News, majority of Canadians view a politician's open support of trucker protest as negative. Survey finds. Now, they don't always post about their surveys. They do conduct these surveys quite regularly. They only really report on it. It becomes big major headline news when the survey goes their way by happenstance. Now, well, let's get into it. We'll get into the methodology in a moment here. Most Canadians say they would hold a negative view of a politician who openly supported the trucker protest that took place in Ottawa this year, news survey from Nanos Research showed. Notice the language is a little different in the article version. They laid siege. Honestly, journalists know what the word siege means? To the survey, which was conducted by Nanos and commissioned by CTV News, which should make it suspect that it's only CTV News that's reporting on this, found that 70% of participants would have more or somewhat more negative impression of a politician in such a case, with residents in Quebec more likely to hold a more negative view, 70%, than those from the prairies, 58%. These negative impressions cut across gender. They cut across every age group. They cut across every region. The fact of the matter is with 7 out of 10 Canadians having a negative view, this is not a growth strategy for anyone or any party that wants to try to win a majority. It would say even a minority government, Nick Nanos said in an interview on CTV's Power Play on Tuesday. So the guy who's conducting the survey is very opinionated on this one. Hey, let's go down to the bottom. This is where people mostly don't scroll to. This is the bottom of the article where they actually give the methodology for how these things are conducted. Nanos conducted an RDD dual frame land and cell lines hybrid telephone and online random survey of 1,073 people. Wow, 1,073 people. That's interesting. 18 years of age or older between August 27th and 29th, 2022. As part of an omnibus survey, participants were randomly recruited by telephone using live agents and administered a survey online. The sample included both land and cell lines across Canada. The results were statistically checked and weighed by age and gender using the latest census information. and the sample is geographically stratified to be representative of Canada. Individuals randomly called using random digit dialing with a maximum of 5 callbacks. The margin of error for this survey is 3 percentage points. 3 percentage points. 19 times out of 20. This study was commissioned by CTV, and research was conducted by Nanos Research. There's something missing. There's something missing in this whole article. That would be, what questions did they ask? Now, the sampling group not only is really, really tiny, but what did they even ask the people? Now, I put this out on Twitter yesterday when I saw this from CTV News. I didn't think it would get trending. I just thought it was funny. Hybrid telephone and online random survey of 1,073 Canadians. What they don't expect you to actually read down to. This is Clown World. This is about as accurate as Twitter's bot sampling. Now, infamously now, Elon Musk drew attention to the fact that Twitter was claiming that they only have 5% of their user base as being bots, but that's because they did such terrible sampling. They did samples of, I think they only did a few samples of 100 users. And that was it. They sampled 100 users and said, oh yeah, only 5% of them are bots. So there you have it. We have another Twitter user here saying to the same post, CTV News posting your interpretation of the results for a poll by omitting the exact questions and answers is quite suspicious. Have Nanos put a link to the poll on their site and provide a link to it so people can read and interpret the results for themselves. And this is why I pointed out how poignant the researcher, Mr. Nanos, in the article was, because he has such a strong opinion on the case. I'm sure you interpreting it on your own doesn't need to happen. Anyway, this is what we've got for this morning. Yeah, Mr. Nick Nano said in an interview about his interpretation of the results of the questions that we don't know what the questions were, and the answers we don't know how they were given. So is it 70% of Canadians, or is it 70% propaganda? Let me know in the comments section down below, because I smell a big stinky poo-poo on this one. It smells bad. It smells really bad. It smells like just more of their crappy polling. Now, leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you're not aware, CTV News does constant polling. They do polling all the time. Most of the time it gets online and people respond to it, and it usually goes in the opposite direction of their narrative. They, of course, ignore those polls constantly. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Do you think this is propaganda or genuine polling? Let me know. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell. That's, you know, when I go live. Tonight I'll be live on Mr. Sunshine Baby's channel. Jasper and I are going to be having a chat about all kinds of things. So come join that, and see you over there. Anyway, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.